Welcome to the Global Exclusive Podcast. I am Shadow, back from the dead, to celebrate this podcast anniversary. And today we are joined by the original cast, minus Hazard, minus Cotton. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Yay!
Yeah.
Cotton was
So-
going to be here, but apparently could not wake up.
Yeah, 8 a.m. is too early for her.
I mean, I think she's recovering from the fact that she had such a terrible pull for Chow. So,
I think so too. She's probably been doing some heavy drinking. I know I fucking would. Like, this banner has me so filled with rage. I am going to be raging out throughout this episode. It's going to be great. It's going to be fucking great.
so the question becomes, who didn't pull on Chow?
I did.
Yeah,
I-
I think.
I think all of us did, right?
Yeah, this is
I
probably
think
the
so.
first
I mean,
banner in a
ish.
while
I-
that all of us
I
pulled.
didn't go to pity, or I didn't get a chow, and I'm not going to pity. So, but I did pull. I did one lap at least. Yeah, listen. Did we say that this is an anniversary episode?
I don't know,
I don't think
hope
we did.
so. But yeah, it's our second anniversary.
Woo,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
2 years old.
Our very first episode included Chow enhancements and was the
Yeah.
Wait.
title.
Our actual first episode was Chow based. Oh my god, this is actually goosebumps.
It was the Chinese New Year one.
Yeah, we titled it A Very Good Boy.
Yes, we did. Oh my, this is goosebump moment actually. Wow.
Why one
Okay.
six?
Huh.
Yeah. So
All right, so Muspel?
this week we got a new NV-based Chow, Divine Beast Chow. In his base form, he's a tank. And let's talk about that first, because there's something here that's, I would say, new and unprecedented, which is that his LB gives omni cover, physical, magical, and fixed for 2 turns, and it only costs 40 crystals. So it's not that unreasonable to have full uptime on it.
I think this is
No.
the first full Omni cover that can actually have full uptime. I think the rest have been cooldowns and grandises and
Yeah,
stuff.
the rest have been cooldowns. Maybe there was one on a super LB or something, but I don't think so.
And can someone remind me about the mechanics of Omni cover? So if you have Omni cover up, is it still that only one cover activates per turn, or
It will absorb physical, magical, and fixed attacks, but not attacks that have the cover piercing tag.
Well, to clarify,
This-
you still can't have another unit covering on the same turn.
no? But I
yes,
mean,
it will
but
cover
the
everything.
exactly. Okay. Yeah, this just increases my rage for Gumi's underhanded tactics. But we're going to talk about that later. I just want everyone that, pulled on Chow and got Chow to hear how great of a unit they are before I really need to fucking blow off some steam.
So before everybody gets too excited about the Omni cover thing, there's serious problems with it. The first thing is that is going to be mitigation and defensive stats. You can't really get high spirit and defense at the same time, and Chow has no innate physical mitigation. And if you're using the LB on the first turn, you also don't have magic mitigation or general mitigation, so you need to get those externally. So that's difficult to pull off. I think there's ways to do it, but in a lot of cases, if you try to do this without a very, very strong plan in mind beforehand, Chow is going to end up dead on the first turn.
It's going to be much more. It's going to be much more applicable in situations where you can immune most of the damage through evade for the physical side or element resists for the magic side. Or
Yeah.
Exactly what I was going to say.
you can take the magic side just fine if you don't need the Omni turn 1, because then you can use a turn to get mitigations and even magic cover first, and then
Yeah, I think a lot of the time we've seen bosses in Clash or Dark Visions where all of the damage of one type has been evadable or resistible, and then all of the damage of the other type is much harder to deal with. And with Chow, you might be able to just double dip and let the rest of your team go full damage, which is good both because it lets your team gear for full damage and also because it makes it so much faster and easier to build them. But
it's
like I
it's
said,
an absolute killer feature of the unit.
it's going to depend on the boss. It's going to depend on the rest of your team, and even then, you're still going to probably want some external LB fill support for consistency. But
Yeah.
it's a very
far
good
from a
option to have in your pocket.
far from a universal tool, but a very nice one to have.
It's definitely a strong niche tool. Like, I mean, and it's a tool that also breaks a lot of the game's mechanics, just like Endless MP and Kuraja have done, and original cover did as well.
It
Which
does
is
and
why
it
I don't like
doesn't.
it.
It's very strong. I absolutely grant you that, but I think that the mitigation problems mean that it's still narrow enough that it doesn't feel horrifically game breaking.
Yeah, I think things like accuracy on bosses and cover piercing attacks are common enough already where it's not super breaking. A lot of sort of the more recent and relevant stuff.
Yeah, if
But
if
it's
you
still
had told
really
me
nice.
last week that they were going to release a unit with full uptime on Omni cover, I would have laughed at you. But now that I've had a chance to see the unit and think about it, I do think it's maybe not an issue. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe in a few months I will be on this podcast saying that it sounds horrible. But
Let's see. Let's see.
my first impression here is that it's certainly not without. I have concerns, but I'm not saying I don't think it'll be as bad as some people are afraid of.
I don't think it's going to be game breaking at all. I just think it's a fucking horrible ability to introduce to the game on full uptime because I know it's going to be used for cheesing and there's going to be clears that people won't be able to replicate because they don't have this bullshit mechanic. But yeah.
Yeah.
There's already a clear that you can't replicate because you don't have one specific unit is already incredibly common. Like that's how I feel every time I see things with Lara. But
Yeah.
so I don't think
Yeah,
that's
no,
that
definitely.
different really
Well,
in
I mean,
practicality.
I don't know. I don't know if I would equate those because like the Lara comparison would be more like, okay, you don't have the raw damage to do it, and that I'm more okay with that, where you need to like seek other forms of team comps. But this is a very specific tool you might be missing. It's kind of like what people felt like when Kresnik was when Kresnik plus Carton were all shitting on the otherwise impossible. Like it was the Maeve banner boss, right?
Yeah, trash
Where
out.
like if you had Kresnik and Cartons, like it was a joke because they had the specific imbue boss and or absorb dark damage mechanics. And I don't know. I just think that's fucking dumb. And I think I know why they're doing it. It's obvious that Gumi's focus is solely on making money for the short term right now, and that's hurting this game. Anyway, I said I was not gonna rage. Sorry, must pull. So, good of a magic tank is Chow in terms of numbers.
I haven't actually run effective health calculations yet because
You are
the
fucking worthless. Oh
well
my
the
fuck!
builder
You have
just
one
updated
job.
I think this morning, so I just did a damage build like 10 minutes before the podcast, and I haven't looked
Oh
at
my
effective health yet.
god.
But
The
from looking
problem
at the
with
kit, I don't think it's great. The biggest problem here is that Shao does not have full uptime on magic mitigation.
it's 4 out of 5 turns, and on those 4 turns, it's going to be really, really tanky. 75 general, 80 magic mit, 70 to 85 cover mit, big
Wow.
barriers, and all that. But on that 1 turn out of 5, you drop to 0 magic mit unless you have external,
Yeah,
and
you better have a
that
backup
can be
plan for that.
bad.
So I mean, what we're technically talking about is then like much stronger than other magic tanks on most turns, except for the one turn where they are as strong as a normal magic tank.
Well, no, on that one turn
Probably
they are
weaker.
going to be a lot worse.
No. I mean, I am counting that you're absolutely bringing some type of external
Oh
magic
yeah, if you're
mitigation.
I
the
Of course
mean,
you are.
50% external, then
with
yeah, it goes down to pretty average on that downturn, I think.
might be below average still.
Doesn't
Slightly, but
Chow's
probably not
utility
much.
still win over like most other magic tanks
Oh
though?
yeah,
Makes
there's
sense.
the utility as well, which is very, very nice. Like
Yeah.
good self healing is nice just on that provoke skill with 40% HP and 10% MP restore. That's honestly kind of nice to have. And then there's AoE ailment breaks or ailment immunity, break immunity, which are both nice to have.
Yeah.
And then
Good
obviously
good
the whole
team
like cow
mitigation.
things, like with this morale gauge filling. Holy shit,
Yeah,
the
oh yeah.
counters.
Yeah, Chow's counters fill a ton of morale. Like there's the ones that are 2 per turn that do a decent amount and also restore some HP and MP, fill LB and stuff. But the main thing you want is like to add a basic attack counter
There's I
on
think
him with
yeah,
something
I
like
think
Black Belt or Blizzard Orb, and then
yeah, that one.
he'll attack a bunch of times with his basic attack, which heals 100 morale and also is also doing HP and MP healing. So your whole team will be filled up and your morale will get a lot as well.
I think there's
So
an
that's really,
I
really
well,
nice.
I think
I just
there's an
can't listen
alternate
to this unit. Like I just can't.
Well, this is how you make a good support unit, really.
No, this is how you make a fucking broken unit, Dream. There's a big
It's not
difference.
broken.
Oh yeah, fuck you, Shadow.
Yeah,
I don't think
without a bunch
I
of
don't
these
think
things,
Chow's even close to broken.
we would be complaining that Chow was mediocre if it didn't have some of this stuff.
No. What? We would not be complaining Chow
No,
was
we
mediocre.
will be complaining because you have to compare Chow to Maeve, and Maeve kind of not broke it, but like she kind of set a new bar for what tanks should be in Chow. And so if that's the case, Chow needs to come and either beat it or compete in a different area. And I think Chow competes in a different area than Maeve enough that they can coexist instead of one topping another.
Yeah.
And this is where I know that most people are angry with Gumi right now, but like this is a moment where just looking at the unit, whoever's designing the units, the Glex units, they're not dumb. Like they probably know more than Alim ever knows in terms of how to design units and give them more than 3 abilities in an LB. So in a way, I think that Chow is really brilliant in what he does. It's just everything around it, right? The event, and yeah, it's just bad taste. But we can talk about that later.
Listen.
Well,
I just don't.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say I don't agree at all. Okay, like I think it's just obvious that this unit is so overloaded. Like you're talking about a good support kit, but this unit can do so many things. Cleanse imperils, give a super strong amp for 3 elements.
I think you need to look at that Cleanse Imperil's ability a little closer, because that is not useful.
Yeah, it kills himself.
And you don't want that.
Yeah.
Oh shit! It actually, I actually missed a second. Okay, hold
And
on.
also, his amps come with no imbues, so
No, but we have that for many units. My whole point is there's so much overloaded shit on top of being a super strong tank, and we're soon gonna talk about the Brave shift. All right, we're not talking like listen. You can't compare this unit to Maeve because Maeve is a pure tank through and through. All right, and
Maeve's damage wasn't bad either.
So if we're gonna say like it's not higher than Lara and Carton. So
here's my take. Chow has a lot of strengths, but Chow also has significant drawbacks and vulnerabilities in that same kit. So, for instance, yes, Chow's damage is going to be. I guess I haven't looked at what it's like in Clash, but it's on paper it seems roughly comparable to Carton's burst.
Well,
maybe a little lower, especially when you account for being a mage.
Partly good on Wiki because Chow's damage is like completely self-sufficient, whereas a lot of the other competitors are scaling a lot more with external support. Plus,
and Chow's damage also less in the variance.
Yeah, because in terms of like morale scaling with how Cotton compares, like Chow's max morale mod is only 500 compared to 300 with no morale, so it's not even double, and I think most morale ratios are much higher than that.
Yeah, but anyway, what I was going to say is, like, even if the damage is comparable on paper, Chow is element locked, Carton's not. Maybe Chow is as tanky against magic as Maeve, I would have to check, but then you have that one turn where Chow just falls over dead if you don't do something big for him. Chow can't physical tank very effectively at all. Like, he has the Omni cover, but against physical damage, you're going to run into a lot of problems.
It basically only works if he's evade, and it's evadable.
Yeah. Chow has a more limited weapon selection than Maeve, I believe, which is not the biggest deal for a tank, but it's still one thing to worry about. There's just a lot of things here where Chow has strengths, but is also clearly not a general purpose unit. And when you're building Chow, a lot of the things that you want are competing for very tight gear slots. Like, if you can get counters in there, then that's going to help a lot with morale. But then you're trying to fit counters onto a unit that already needs resists and probably effective health and a lot of other things. And can you fit all that at once?
But I mean, you don't need Black Belt for his counters to be good, and for already to have a really strong morale fill in his kit, which eliminates many of the other, or some of the other niche units we've had. Like, again, Maeve is not a general purpose unit either. She's a tank, but her thing is she can tank both physical and magical in 2 different forms, right?
Well,
Chow's thing is that he's a strong magic tank, a really strong one, probably like around Maeve levels, but we don't know because Muspel sucks, and a really strong damage dealer. On top of those two things that are just really good things in themselves, like to be a really strong damage dealer in Cow, together with being an incredibly tanky magic tank for fights that don't take longer than 4 turns for most players, this unit also has insane morale fill, a ton of utility outside of the tanking role. This is my point. Like,
You do
like,
realize, like, Maeve also has ailment and break resist buffs AoE and
yeah, but
like
I did not say
the
Maeve is
imbue.
okay. I specifically think Maeve is fucking dumb when she was released as well. Like that was just so stupid. It was beyond. And the whole thing is, it's just so clear that this design. I agree with Shadow. The person that's doing this knows what they're doing, and what they're doing is they're trying to make money for Gumi in the short term. That's
I don't agree
exactly what's
that
happening.
Maeve was stupid either. Maeve
Yeah, but
again
you love
had
tanks, okay?
clear
You're
strengths.
biased. I don't want to hear
Well,
your opinions.
well,
I think
my
part of the
point
point.
is that Alan has no idea what to do with tanks. They release like one that's completely busted, and then they do nothing for 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
And
like, yeah,
Gumi, on the other hand,
non-damage rolls have very much like not power crept much, and power creep is inevitable eventually. So this
yeah,
is non-damage power creep that you are seeing. This is what it looks like.
I
Gumi
I'm fine
honestly
with.
think
is
that
absolutely pushing the envelope. But unlike Alan, they seem to do it with more than one unit, and they do it more frequently. So on the one hand, it sucks to see that your tank is not going to last 2.5 years, like FaZe did. But at the same time, it's also nice to see the meta get shaken up a little bit. If you're seeing FaZe in literally every single clear over and over and over again, that's really boring. Because after a certain point, you know everything she does, you know exactly why she's there, and there's nobody else that can ever compete. Whereas now you have Bahimi, you have Maeve, and now you're going to see Chow, and I'm sure there's other units that are not coming to mind at the moment.
Celeste.
I think
Yes, so
I think
but
Barrows, what you're complaining about is something that's valid in terms of how Maeve was kind of busted, but it's also something that Gumi put themselves into a corner as soon as they released Cow. What's happening right now is that a lot of people are saving for whatever global exclusive banner that comes with Cow and not pulling on any of the JP banners because most of these Cow units also do very well in DV. So it's come to a point where it's like Gumi needs to step up, not just from the last Cow banner, but also from whatever equivalent JP banners at that week,
Yeah, I mean,
because they've designed
it's a
themselves into a corner.
self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like it's kind of if you every time there's a cow, you make a banner that you literally need that unit to make the trial doable, or I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Of
I don't
course,
really
people are
think
going to
that's
have
true.
that behavior. And then this spirals down into you thinking, well, okay, all of our effort needs to go towards designing even more and better cow units because that's the only thing the players are spending on. Well, no fucking shit. You designed the system in that way, you stupid fucks. Like we have the dude in wiki discussions saying like, yeah, we're just going to copy stuff over from JP. We're not going to be upgrading anything. And we're just going to focus on cow because that sells.
I mean,
Yeah, no
in their
shit.
defense, every single unit from JP would be just as much work because like there's nothing redeemable in those JP kits.
Hundred percent.
There's nothing there. You would have to like yeah, you could buff Lena's numbers, but that doesn't make her interesting. You would have to give her an entire kit because she doesn't have one.
Nah, I mean that's like so. Right now, it seems like Lena is actually well. I don't know if she's bugged. I think she's intentionally like that. I think the description is wrong, but she actually has a 50% imperil field, right?
I think she did
That's
briefly, but it's fixed again now.
no okay. Then
Maybe
my
Lena
whole point
wasn't
fell
the best
apart.
example, but like
Yeah.
but most of these JP units, like you could buff their numbers, but that doesn't make them interesting. It makes them less bad or it makes them good, but people
Also,
would still be bored by them. So
L-
they can
Lena
either
is
design their
probably
own
one of the
units.
more interesting recent JP kids. That's the
Yeah.
sad part.
Well,
Yeah.
no. I mean, but the whole point is kind of like if you're saying, okay, we have to design for cow because that's the only thing that sells because we're designing it that way. That's a dumb argument. Like I'm not saying it would be easy to or just no work at all to buff JP units or to do whatever, right? But I'm saying that you can't say that the only thing that works is cow, so we need to design for cow.
Well, my point is that designing units from the ground up is going to be about the same amount of work as fixing a JP unit. Because in either case, you're pretty much just designing an entire kit from scratch. Because you have to recreate the entire JP unit because you can't reuse any of it. There's no, like I said, there's nothing interesting there.
And for the
If you
most
want to
part,
make Cyan a unit that people are going to care about beyond just how much damage he does, you need to come up with a reason for him to exist, and he doesn't have one right now.
Yeah, but like here's the point. There is a certain power and certain draw to units also just doing damage. All right. So like let's take a unit like Cyan, for example. Okay, maybe that was a bad example because Cyan actually was released at a time where he's powerful and he's still actually fairly powerful for Earth content. But um, I don't know, Lena, or whatever. Where okay, this like if she actually had meta levels of damage, or just slightly below meta levels of damage, people would pull out of the nostalgia alone, and that is just a simple math exercise. Like I mean, just adding some damage, you can do that. You don't like. I am not requiring them to create the most fun and exciting units in the world. I'm not. I'm just saying that obviously over designing units to be extremely powerful for this one cow that they are released for is building it's building the prophecy that they're afraid of, right? It's building the prophecy of that, well, you're gonna have to hoard and pull for every cow banner because that's how cow banners work. You either have that unit
But that's
or you're
only
gonna have
if
a
you're
shit
pushing
time.
for top ranks. Like clearing the fights is
No,
going to
no,
be
no,
more
no.
challenging without Chow, but you can still do it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my point. Okay, you already said it. So yes, it's also for top rank, but or it is for top rank, but all of these banners have been much easier if you have the banner unit. It is
Well, yeah,
always
but
like
it's not impossible. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with having a fight that's more challenging. Like especially because there's so many guides out there. Like there's all kinds of YouTubers and whatever they're going to put up videos like, hey, here's my clear of this fight without.
yeah, but I don't think challenging needs to being a specific niche or kit that only a single unit brings. Like, if you know what I mean, I absolutely agree on the challenging part. But challenging to me means there are a couple of ways to
oh,
do this, but they're not easy.
I think Trishan was overtuned on that thing for needing too specific a thing, though it didn't end up being. It was less Maeve and more like the enemy imbues. But the rest of them for clearing have kind of been not that bad for other options and stuff. Like the previous one, Arborealis, that was easy to just clear. It was just slow, but you could clear it with pretty much whatever you wanted.
Actually, you're right, Dream. I do feel that Arboralis was one of the better designed ones, even though, Tiana had a thing where she made it easier because she had all the elements, right? So
Yeah,
she
But I
could
think
like
that's
help you.
fine. Making something
it
that's
wasn't that hard.
easier because of a
Yeah.
new unit is something that's, I think, completely fine. Making
Yeah.
something impossible is the issue, right?
And
And
I
right
Well,
don't
now,
think this
I would
one
say it's a
is too
scale,
bad.
right?
This
I mean,
one's not too bad to clear without Chow either because you have options for like ignoring that human mitigation from fast clears for fast clears with like evokers or the Moogle damage dealers. But yeah, if you want to go for the really high scores, then yeah, obviously the new unit that is designed to shine in this fight will make it a lot easier.
yeah. I mean, to me, it's a scale, and I think they hit the right end of the scale on the Tiana banner because there are other units you could all and or ways through FFBE mechanics where you could, like compensate for the actual scenario where you don't have a unit that can do all 5 relevant elements in one turn, right? Like there were ways around that, and they were actually, I won't say easy, but they were manageable. And but there have been many cow fights that are tuned to the other end where like
I mean,
it's not
how
even
many?
manageable.
Like you've talked about how the one with Maeve was really bad, but like what other ones were that bad without the relevant unit? I
I'm
mean,
now actually having to remember what
yeah,
other banners
I
we
mean,
had.
I guess that's kind of my point that like, despite having run the game for a long time, Gumi actually has not made many global exclusive bosses. Like, there's probably less than 20, I want to say, like real bosses, not
Yeah.
event bosses that everybody one shotted anyways. Like
Yeah.
you have Echidna, Rumble of Malboro, the 3 bosses from Telphosanis, and the Clash bosses, and that's it.
It was
Am
like
I?
the 4 or 5 chamber of vengeance ones.
Yeah, I
True.
guess that's true. But I still think that's less than 20 at this point. Like
Yeah.
they certainly don't have a perfect track record, but I also think they're still learning, and like they're not doing a bad job when you consider how little experience they have at it.
Or considering the fact that
Mm,
how bad Alim does their job at it.
Yeah,
but
that
but
too.
but that still doesn't cover the blatant design for maximizing short-term profits,
But
which
but
really
again,
bothers me.
there's like one
They are a
example of that.
company. They are focused on making money.
Yes, no,
This is not a surprise.
I am not arguing that a gacha game needs to make money and that they need to have incentives for players to spend money. What I'm arguing against is the really hurtful, exploitative mechanics you do that through. Like, now, okay, we've devolved into this area anyway. I would have liked us to finish Chow, but we can do that too. For instance, on this banner, we have Shui Yu on the banner as well. Shui Yi, Shu Yaoi, I don't know. We have
Hmm.
her, 0 upgrades. She's an envy on banner, meaning she shares rates with Chow. She is worse
She
than most 7 stars. Like there are 7 stars that are NVAs that are much better than her. She has 0 function in this game. Her STMR is absolute dog shit. It only works on her. There's no like her TMR is also worthless. There's literally no reason to pull this unit. Why is she on banner and unbuffed? Well, obviously to make pulling for Chow more difficult, right? Obviously to increase
That's
profit.
not how it works, because regardless of whether they share with anything, all like new envies are always 1% rate. There's no like rate splitting with envies.
Yeah.
so what your chances of getting Chow was not ruined by Shui Yu being in the banner.
But
Wait, so
it does definitely suck that she's not buffed, but she's not affecting your chow rates.
Yeah, like
so Chow is
every
still
NV for the past however long has had a 1% rate. Chow has a 1% rate. Shueyu is 0.5%. It's
Yeah,
actually,
the
if you're pulling
rerun
for
ones
her
are
for
lower.
some insane reason, I don't know why, it would be worse.
It was same as Ibarra on Carton's banner.
okay. Well, okay, that is really good. That still doesn't fix the problem where you still have a much higher chance of getting a really shitty NV than a random NV that you would get on another banner, right? Like if it was just
I
Chow on the
think
banner.
Well,
I think
it's 1.5 rather than 2%, so 3/4.
I think what's happening here is that um there is a clear lack, and I've said this multiple times, there's a clear lack of like manpower at Gumi versus what they want to do with Cow and like all this global exclusive things. Like a few like you can tell because when they started skipping story events, it's because they lack the manpower to translate that shit every week for whatever amount of
But
character points they
that
have.
is like I've worked
And
in the video game industry for 14 years. I know how much it costs to translate shit. Like I do not understand that argument from anyone like that it would be expensive to translate. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Square
The
Enix
price,
says
like,
no, fuck you.
yeah, if
yeah,
Square Enix says no fuck you, then Gumi has no choice but no. Like they don't have the funds for it.
that's so dumb. Like,
Well,
because like
even they're
it's
not allowed to spend the funds that they do have on it.
yeah, I guess that's it. I guess maybe that's the thing where just
And
Square Enix
honestly,
comes and
we've
stamps.
we've seen a bunch of times in news fairly recently, I feel, of like high up Square Enix people not making very smart decisions.
Yeah, no, and
Uh,
we have talked about this before on the podcast where it seems like Square Enix is controlling a lot behind the scenes, and we've even had this confirmed by the Gumi employees that do sometimes come over to, or I don't know if they're Gumi employees or just people freelancing for Gumi. I don't care, but like that, yeah, we do see a lot of control from Square Enix that maybe is potentially at least making some of these bad decisions,
Yeah, but
and
like I think my point is that there's a clear lack of manpower, and when they stopped doing NVAs for older units, and now they didn't update Shui Yu. Sometimes I just think, oh yeah, they're clearly lacking the manpower to do all of that, plus create a new unit, plus create a new cow boss, and it. I'm not defending Gumi, but at the same time, it's most likely on Square for not giving them the okay or funds to do what they really want to do
yeah.
with all of this.
And in
And
Gumi's
what's really
defense,
maybe.
weird,
in
and
Gumi's
here's the
defense,
added weird thing.
as they've cut down on the stuff that they're doing by like not doing NVAs, the things that they have released, like Clash bosses and the new base NVs, have actually gotten better in quality. Like some of the older global exclusive NB bases like Napi were just not impressive. But
That's
the
true.
less they release, the higher quality it is, and it sucks
Yeah,
that we
no,
don't
no,
get
no, no, no,
much.
no, no.
But
But listen, I don't buy that. I don't buy that argument just for the simple fact that, I mean, they're actually putting in an active effort, active part of their time to remove positive content from the game. You can't deny that. Like they're removing unit upgrades, crowns, NVA just upgrades, reworks, and so on. That are for free. They're coming from JP. They're already in the fucking data. They actually have to put in a physical effort to remove them. The reason why we know it's like this, it's
that may
because they accidentally get patched in at other in other patches, and then they have to remove them again,
Well,
which is
it's
so
less
dumb.
effort. It is less effort to remove than it is to like translate and test and make sure they work with GL's different skill descriptions and whatnot and stuff. So it probably is still slightly less work to remove them than it is to put them in. But yeah, it's almost
It,
entirely done to not make sure that they aren't taking away from people's chances of pulling on banners, and that does really suck.
it does
Old
suck. It
unit
sucks
upgrades
so
are
bad.
like the thing that I want,
And I mean,
that hurt the most to not get, basically.
yeah. I mean, and I don't even talk about Shui because okay, Shui would require an additional effort, right? Like she would actually require an effort to design new mods, etc. Even though I feel like it would be really easy to just make her just a little bit stronger. I feel like that's like 5 minutes of work maybe. But anyway, regardless, what I'm saying is I am really hurt by when they actively remove things that from players just as you said, Dream, just in order to increase revenue. And it's kind of connected to what you said before, Dream. I mean, company has to make money. Yes, a company does have to make money, but it doesn't always have to be so short-term revenue focused, where they're kind of
Yeah, yeah.
burning the
Play
candle
a
really
good
fucking
role.
I
aggressively.
think there's another angle to it too. I think part of it may be like if they don't release these NVAs, then people are going to need other units to fill those roles, and they'll pull for them. Maybe that's part of it. Another part of it could be that they want to keep global unpredictable, because there have been times in the game's history when people have known exactly what was coming from JP, and it shaped their decisions months in ahead, and it meant that people skipped a lot of banners, and that was I can
Wait for those wall
guarantee you
enhancements,
that
guys.
yeah, that was not good for Gumi's bottom line. And
Yeah, but they have fixed
like
that now.
we're
With Cow, they've
Well,
fixed that. Like they don't
it's
have that
not a
problem
problem
anymore.
when JP's releases are miserable anyway.
Yeah, true,
I
true.
mean there are still people that are hoarding for Knights of Grand Shelter Dark Reign.
Mostly
And
Yeah,
for
I
the
think
they
cards
shouldn't
because they're
though.
also useful on the global exclusive units.
And I
I
was
mean
gonna
they
say they
shouldn't, but I
shouldn't
think
because I've heard that Knights of Grandshelt are like fucked over because like the trials released after their release are immune to their elements. So fuck
yeah.
you.
But my point is I think Gumi wants to make sure that like we don't know, like even if JP gets something, I think they want people to get into the mindset that JP getting something is not even close to a guarantee that we'll get it, and
I don't
not
know.
let
I
JP
think you're
shape their
reaching.
decisions.
I think you're reaching. The fact that Faris and Bart's got tiny upgrades on Final Fantasy IV banner in JP and we didn't, I do not think that's a grand scheme to make the game unpredictable. I'm sorry. I just think that is short-term greed in and the fear that if we buff these units the least, maybe slightly less amount of players will spend money on this banner.
I think
That's I think what it is.
I apply to the wisdom that you always have to assume ignorance or incompetence versus malice, and I think ignorance and incompetence right now is the answer versus malice.
No,
And
no, because this requires work.
Yeah,
Like
I think it's
removing this requires
Well,
work.
again, it
malice from
requires
Square
less work than
Enix.
localization.
It could, like, yeah. I'm not trying to shit on Gumi alone. I am sure there are some really complex mechanics here, and that the Square Enix are stepping on their throat. I'm sure that can be the case. But I'm a player of the game, so I'm just expressing how I feel, and I feel shit. Like I don't care if it's Square Enix kicking me in the nuts or Gumi. I'm being kicked in the nuts and it hurts.
This is a side note, but I just keep thinking of that meme with Barris of this week being like, life is pain, Gumi is making us suffer, and then next week just being like, OMG, Xenogears.
Yeah, listen, that's not gonna happen because I don't have any lapis. So when Xenogears comes around, you know what's gonna happen? Okay. Let me predict this fucking bullshit right now. So what's gonna happen is when Xenogears comes out, Faye and Ellie are not gonna get their upgrades. And
I
if you
don't.
think I am whining now, holy shit, just
I'm not
wait for
sure
that.
Ellie even got any in JP.
Now she got 7 stars, so she didn't get an NVA, but she got like upgrades to her unit, as I understand it. I could be wrong, but I have a fairly strong memory that Ellie got some upgrades, not an NVA. Faye got an NVA.
Localizing some of that stuff might be more problematic because those units got global exclusive buffs originally.
Ellie got like really different enhancements and stuff here. But
Yeah.
yeah, if they cut Faye's NVA, valid, but I wouldn't really expect anything for Ellie.
Yeah, I guess like 7 star units haven't been getting any serious upgrades
Yeah.
regardless. So
Especially as without the like Mastercard upgrade and the
yeah,
cards, the free
yeah.
cards giving like special 7-star only buffs,
the
Ellie
I
would
mean, let's
be
see.
garbage regardless. But
Right now, I'm not gonna lie. I had a earlier today and throughout the day I've had several crises of faith. Like I play 4 gachas right now. I play them fairly heavily, all 4 of them. And like I am well, I mean, I enjoy it, but I've been so close to uninstalling FFB, and I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm not trying to be like, oh my god, looking for attention. I honestly have been really close to uninstalling FFB because I'm just realizing I am being treated like a human being and a player that deserves
I think
interesting and engaging times and decisions in a game in all the other games except FFB, where my only feeling is I am being milked for all the money I can, put into the game. And that's just such a shitty feeling. I mean,
I think
you
that's
can
been the
make
thing.
money without doing that.
That's been the feeling since since the premium units have came out. Maybe not everyone shares that feeling, but like Tobias,
No, I mean,
Yuna, Sephiroth, I think really just felt like, and I think that feeling just continues to carry on. So it's not a new feeling for me, if you
no,
know what
no,
I mean.
but it's kind of climaxing for me right now, like, and not in a good climax way, like,
Wait,
whale dick
hang on a
orgasm.
fucking second.
Actually, we were
I
talking
just
about
realized
whale
something.
penises
Oh,
before
Sorry,
the
Barros.
podcast.
Barros, Shadow Dream. I am really
Okay.
angry. You guys have been trying for the past, I don't know, half hour to make me forget something. We need to talk about Chow's TM and STMR and Vision card.
Oh, this
I
is
was
great
just
because
thinking that.
I called the STMR shit on the Newsday. And that was hilarious. A hilarious moment before I realized what actually said in the STMR description. So please, Muspel, tell us about the STMR.
So the TM is pretty good for a TM. It's a shield, 170 spirit, some resists. It also has some defense.
I would say
Um,
it's pretty strong for a TM actually,
yeah,
given the
yeah.
stats on it. Like
Like
it's
you could tell me that this was a 7-star STMR, and I would believe you. You could tell me it was an NV STMR, and I would say it was fine. For a
yeah.
TM, it's quite good. His
The
STMR,
STMR is shit though. It's absolutely horrible.
I guess
it's
the thing with the TMRs is that like not that many things use shields, and like shield difference in quality isn't going to be make or break regardless. So
yeah,
even if a TM is close to like STMR level, it's kind of not a big deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
The STMR is good actually. It's very very niche. Because there's not a lot of
Oh,
spirit-based damage dealers. So like,
Wait, hold on.
I
What?
I would say it's moderate.
What moderate?
Because
What?
like at obviously the big thing is 100% LB damage, and
Yeah.
even if you're not getting anything from the spirit really, like a regular attack based damage dealers, that's still like good, but not having any attack on it is means it's not always going to be ideal, not always going to be amazing, but some other attack based units will also want it, and then
yeah.
obviously for Chow it does a lot.
Like in
Yeah.
rare cases, we can still see people use Squall's STMR. That's not common these days. But this is a drastically upgraded version of Squall's STMR.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
and I
even
wouldn't
if you
say
ignore
it's
the
not
spirit.
common. Like when you're gearing a full team of damage, unless you're like Mega Whale and have like 5 Sora STMRs and 3 Hawkeye STMRs and 3 Zoma, like Squall STMR is going to be on your shit.
Yeah,
And
and this is a
A
way
hundred
better
percent
version
LB
of that.
damage is still 100% LB damage.
yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Like there
like
there are
it's
units that you can
probably
optimize builds for
yeah.
insanely thanks to the 100%.
Most attackers would prefer Sora's and Hawkeye's STMR. Like it's not going to be as good as those are, even though it's got more LB damage.
Yeah,
But yeah, it is still solid will make it into a lot of builds for LB damage dealers, even if they're not
there's
spirit
obviously only a few units that get full value out of it, but it's good. This is the kind of thing
It's
I would
really
like to
good.
see from NV STMRs.
Yeah, I remember. So the mistake I made on Newsday, I was reading it, and for
I
some
think it
reason
was
there's
Hillary.
LB fill on it, and Sinzar is like, and Sinzar saying it's good, and I'm like, this is just marginally better than Kyrie STMR. Like, what the fuck is he on? And then I saw that
Oh,
it's
you thought it was
actually
LP fill rate.
yeah, I thought it was LB fill rate, and then I'm like, oh, hold the fuck on. Yeah, okay, that was good.
FFBE players in reading comprehension. Name a less
Yeah,
iconic duo.
And then the
yeah.
card is also very good for spirit-based damage dealers, of which there are not many. It's
Spirit-based damage
115.
dealers from FFBE.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think. There's a card that gives 125 spirit. I forget. Is that Kresnik or Yuna?
That's Yuna's one. Kresnik
Okay.
is either 110 or 115 as well.
Okay. Yeah. So this is.
Kresnik has the TDH right on it.
Let me look up Kresnik because I don't remember. There's so many cards at this point, and almost none of them matter, so I forget most of them.
I think Kresnik's has the TDH. Yeah, it's FFB unit only 50% TDH spirit.
Yeah, and then
True
50%
TDH
from
actually.
the lower level stuff, so 100% total.
Yeah.
Whereas Chow's is 50% spirit with a staff, 500 static spirit for an FFBE unit. Is that gender restricted? Because I know, like, with
No,
Pyrus
it's
it was,
just
and we didn't see it on the wiki.
it's just FFBE based.
Okay, so that's good. I guess you could use
That's
this
a buff for
on
like Yoshi and Shui.
Yeah,
right?
there is not many units to use it for.
Well,
yeah.
you just wait until we get NVA Schwen.
Stop at
Right.
NVA. We already know it's unrealistic
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah. But I mean, like it's amazing for Chow, right? Like flat the flat spirit. If you're not an FFB unit, you'd probably prefer Yuna's card, but that's also a premium
This
card,
could
so it's
also
hard to make the argument.
maybe see use on Mave in very rare situations where you don't care about HP. That would be for like a Dark Visions boss where you want to minimize damage taken and there's non-elemental magic damage. But even then, you
Yeah.
might just use Chow instead.
I do wanna or promote one thing. I'm really liking cards that also have resistances on them because I'm finding
Yeah.
that I'm using more and more of these to do like niche builds and gearings. So hey, please give us more of that. I actually enjoy that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chow good. Let's move the
And
fuck on. We already
yeah,
did the Gumi sucks fat horse deck. Oh, sorry, I'm reading from my agenda. So
the only
the
other thing I
weekly,
think we have to talk about is old units with TMs and STMRs, and there is not much here. So just
yeah.
going to go down the list. First off, the 4 stars, Yan and Ling. There's nothing there.
Don't bother.
Let me pull up a list of all of them.
I think like Fu is a decent 7-star unit because he can do his LB fill shenanigans, right? So that's like a nice niche tool to have in your arsenal, I guess.
We do have other options for that now, I feel though. But
Okay, and then there's Aang. Nobody cares.
Aang's
I'm not hit by
STMR
this.
is like still alright on the very niche of like using a TDH bow. It's like a
I
decent
guess.
stat stick for
But
that.
it would probably be like your 3rd or 4th damage dealer.
Yeah.
So it's
not
certainly
great.
not exciting. Chow's STMR has very narrow applications. I think like the counter on it can be handy for a few rare things, but if you're using that, you're doing something real weird. Chin and Baihu are unmitigated trash. Well, I take that
Man,
back.
I used to love Chin and Baihu.
Chin's STMR could have future relevance. It has very high magic and it's two-handed. So once we get JP announced like a month or two ago that they were going to be adding two-handed variants to mages.
I
So
think magic damage does now have variants. I think it was added recently, or it might be in the next week or two. But
Really?
I think part of the
What?
thing is, yeah, they're getting variants on magic damage. I think part of the thing is also a lot of the recent NVs and JP.
No. I mean, I knew we were getting it. I was just surprised that you said it's already in.
In JP.
I'm not entirely sure if it is, but if it's not, it's very close.
Yeah, but you're talking about JP, right? Not GL.
Yeah, JP.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, wait, did this?
No.
Okay, no.
We haven't even got the regular variants update.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but also a lot of recent JP envies have been giving high magic two-handed weapons of various weapon types that are useful for that. So
Yeah.
and they all have like at least 30 more magic than Chin's does. But yeah, it could be all right, I guess.
Yeah, but Chins increase your defense and spirit when your HP drops below 40%. Do those other weapons have that?
Never
Do
mind,
they,
it's the
Dream?
best.
Do they?
Can
Top
we just
class.
move the fuck on from
Full
this
fiction.
shitstorm of STMRs and PMRs?
Anyway, the moral of the story is you are not pulling on this banner for the 7 stars.
Yeah, you're not. You
Dang.
are
Ever.
not.
And then the other 7-star units are Xuanwu and Qinglong, which you're definitely not using either. Well,
No.
doesn't their SMR have a spirit and LB damage? No, wait, it's spirit while using a fist, right? Yeah, never mind. And then Fu, God no. No, just no.
I mean, technically the spirit with using a fist, like Chow can use fists, Snow STMI is a fist with good spirit, but also like Chow caps spirit easily enough anyway. Raw,
Wait, actually,
just
there is one
80% spirit is just
I
not
mean,
that amazing.
Fu's kit has a couple things that are still semi-unique that we should very briefly mention. The first is that he is, to my knowledge, still the only unit in the game that can grant magic cover to someone else. It's very low mitigation, but this
I
could
want to say
have...
one other unit has that.
Who else does
really?
it?
I don't remember who, but I just kind of feel like there was one. I might be wrong.
I don't
So
remember.
maybe there's someone else, I don't know. But
Is that?
it is at best very rare.
Yeah.
I used that once on who did I use it on? I used it on Shinryu. Because Shinryu did the thing where he dispelled your tank and then he killed them, so you could not you could raise them next turn, but then you wouldn't have magic cover. So I used food to apply cover to the recently raised tank, so that I would survive that turn. That's the only time I
Oh, the
think it has
wow.
ever been relevant.
The alternate option for that case we do now have is tanks with preemptive cover buffs, though.
Yeah,
True.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
this is not likely to see use, but it could maybe come up. It's one of those weird things that is good to remember exists.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that
if someone had like a self 100% mitigation buff or something,
yeah.
but no cover.
The other thing to keep in mind is that he has a skill that fills LB gauge by 100 to all allies. It costs the entire Esper gauge, and he can only use it once per battle. But that could it can be kind of useful for like first turn KO. The problem is that he has like 8 fucking auto casts, so it takes him like 15 seconds before you can have him do anything at the start of a fight.
Yeah.
So if this is something where you're farming, you don't want him on your team.
And there's
Exactly.
also a bunch of other units that can do at least like between 30 and 60 AoE
Yeah.
turn 1. So it's going to be rare that isn't enough.
There are some units that still have like crazy expensive LBs, but it's certainly not common
Yeah,
these
yeah.
days.
Very
I
few
mean,
go
enough.
above 60.
Like, I just want to make everyone aware that we've been talking about like an old unit for 10 minutes that came out like 15 years ago.
It's
Let's
been
say
like
15
Look,
2 or
it's
3
Muscle.
minutes
What do you
tops.
expect?
Yeah, I know. Somebody needs to stop him. Like Shadow, just choke him out.
Sorry, I'm
Alright,
actually
buddy.
enjoying this.
Shadow is at my door and about to choke me, so we're gonna have to call this episode to a close, right?
But erotically or like, aggressively?
But we've got a
Or
very important limited time fight to discuss.
yeah. The
Oh,
I
who
right.
still didn't do the
fight.
hard version because it's actually, I couldn't one shot it.
Yeah, it's a bit trickier to one shot. It's actually fairly
Can beat you
tanky.
up a bit.
But it's fairly straightforward. I don't know.
Yeah.
Me and Dream were just talking about it just before the pod. The literally only thing you should keep in mind about the Tiger heavy difficulty is don't cross 50% because your tank will die. Or well, depends on your tank, I guess. But it's gonna take a heavy beating.
And they like have a magic tank with water and dark resists. I think
Turn
preemptive
one.
cover on them is good
Preemptive,
too.
yeah.
So like Phase is a nice easy choice. Use fire or light damage. Like I think I just had some CWA chaining with like Tiana and Yigni, and it
Yeah.
was pretty chill.
I think I Tyvust it to
Yeah.
death.
It can beat you
Myself.
up a bit, but it's not too hard.
Yeah. And like if you can just do it where you just do like maybe 40% turn one or your first damage turn and then the remaining 60, that's it. Then you won't even feel anything from the boss.
So here's the real question, though. We finally got NV Chow, which is like, that's one of the deepest tricks that Gumi could pull out of their bag in terms of units that people love the sprite of and they want to see another take on.
Yeah.
Who else can they do that with?
Envy Esther, Envy Roberta.
I'm not sure about Roberta. I do know Esther has this really toxic fan base, so that would work. But Roberta, like, I mean, I love Roberta. Don't get me wrong. I love the shit out of her, but I'm not sure she's that
Esther
popular.
had fans, but I don't think it was really about the sprite. People disliked that she was overpowered. And Roberta, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, no, I've heard
R-
people
r-
fucking defend her sprite, and that's really weird because her sprite is absolute shit, and I stand by that.
I'm thinking
I like
like
the hoodie.
White Knight Noel's sprite is not great, but I think that
Okay,
if they
listen, I knew it. Like, we cannot do
No
a
one
single
cares about
episode
Noel.
without Muspel mentioning White Knight Noel. Okay, why?
I think that they could do a version of him that looked cool because the current version does not look cool.
No one would care about it.
Nobody would fucking care, Muspel. They can't do it because nobody would pull. Calm the
What
fuck
about
down.
Lucas?
Who?
No.
No, Jesus, stop! God damn it! I think
Christmas
you know
is dead,
who.
okay?
You know who else has a fan? Well, I was gonna say Freyevia, but I'm actually not sure anymore because I think that's more like one of those older units that might not
that
be.
well has got to be dry by now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. With
I
Aurora
think you
out
should still
there,
get a moderate amount.
yeah,
Guys, I don't think
they.
anyone's listening to the podcast anymore.
No, no. I mean, no. You're right, Shadow. Actually, Cow. Did anyone do Cow? Like, did anyone do the full fight yet?
No, I've done up to like 70 so
Yeah.
far.
I did 80 with my OTK team, worked, and then I didn't try to do more because I was just assuming I would get shit on, and that seems to be very much true because you need to switch to, well, either Chow or a evoker team. It seems because you need to go through that horrible human
Yeah,
mitigation.
because early on it's got that human net, which makes it difficult. I think generally because that human net for like the score-based players, turn 5 is like the big damage turn that you want to do your
Yeah.
burst above half, and then it's really just surviving phase 2 until you can get it down to 0.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? I take that back. I can think of a unit where people actually would really like to see an Envy version with a better sprite. And
Oh,
maybe a
nice. This is
CGL
not
team.
at all like a jump back to something entirely different,
Yeah,
but please
of
go ahead.
course. That's how the podcast works. You
It
guys
is.
say
It
stuff
is.
and I ignore you.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think
All
you
right,
can
go ahead.
agree with me on this. You want to see a CGLB Malphasy.
If you're
Right.
No,
doing
you're
Oh,
not
yes.
wrong.
Hell
Actually,
yes.
if you're
you're not
doing
wrong.
one of the original fan designs, you have to do all of them though, otherwise it's not fair.
Well,
Nah,
no, they have to skip Ellisferus. I swear to God, if I have to read another post from that
Oh
guy's
god.
from that unit's designer about how
Yeah,
horny that
no
unit design made him.
No
listen,
thanks on that one.
but
No, the
yeah,
original
no.
unit design ones are dead. Sorry.
What if we had some serious discussions and thoughts about Kaito?
No.
I mean, actually, Kaito, I would, Kaito and Tsukiko both had really cute, nice designs. Also, Kaito was actually a lot more powerful than you gave him credit for, Muspel. Like, he
I
was
never said
unique,
Kaito was useless.
synergistic.
Okay, but I talked to
Um,
Hirono-san myself, and I know his design's intentions,
it's
and
like,
most
I
spell
think
doesn't.
it's just Muspel and Dream don't understand the math behind dots. It's that simple. Kaito is actually a beast.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean, all this came straight from Fujimoto-san.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so listen,
He's fun to meme on, but yeah, Kaito and Tsukiko do actually have nice designs.
they
Yeah,
do.
I
Yes.
think they could redesign Kaito as a tag chainer these days.
And like Chizuru seems to be winning the vote, so I guess like she is probably the.
I'm
Don't they
surprised
still
that she's
owe us a
winning.
Roberta?
Sorry.
She's probably in the works. The pipeline is just like 12 months long.
Yeah.
I'm
Due to
surprised that
COVID.
Chizuru is winning because I didn't think we had that many people that played back in the 4-star era.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. I said the exact
my
same
argument.
thing.
Here's my argument. I think the people that are left are only people from the 4-star era because they're only playing this. It's like an abusive relationship. You just don't leave it because like
No,
you're so used to it.
exactly. I
The
agree
game
with
is
Chow.
not pulling in new players.
No, because like
Yeah, it's
you
just the
join
old
as a new
players.
player and you see that this game literally takes a hot steaming shit in your face, and you're like, I could be playing other gachas that don't shit in my face and spit in my mouth. Unless you're into that, that's perfectly fine. I do not kink shame, but I'm meaning it in a negative way as trying to paint a picture with my words. But yeah,
Happy anniversary, everyone.
no, yeah. If you take anything with you, it's that Gumi is really not in it for the long haul right now. They're in it for the short-term gains, and that's, I think, I mean, obviously, it's also hurting player intake. Who the fuck would want to continue playing this game if they join now? So
I
But
think
hey,
the like complexity and stuff, and just the like scrapped together mountain of content barely holding itself together, is more
yeah,
like what makes it unapproachable for new
no,
players
that's definitely a huge
than the banner
deterrent. You come
stuff.
in and you're
Yeah,
like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Yeah,
And like
because as
so many.
there's
as
a
a new player, I feel like the banner stuff probably isn't really an issue because you have like 300k lapis available from story.
I think
Yeah,
there's also
yeah.
a reputation thing right now. FFBE has probably the worst reputation of all the Final Fantasy gacha games, so
The ones
it
that
is a
haven't
thing.
been cut already.
Yeah, I guess so. And in terms of like how and in terms of like how this gacha treats versus other its players versus other gachas, I feel like it's like in the middle ground. It's like right dead in the center. But because new players tend to get more again as they have like 300k lapis in the story, they basically have infinite resources to pull for the next like 6 months. So they don't feel the pullness. It's just there's so much content TMRs and STMRs locked behind limited time stuff. You kind of lose interest after a few months.
Yeah, there's that too. Absolutely. That there's stuff you're just gonna miss, and you just don't have the roster either. Like as a new player, sure you could be pulling on every banner, but unless like you're gonna get the perfect roster within the next 5 banners, like FFB still screws you over.
Yeah, and like
So
one of the best examples is one I had a close friend, and like they wanted to get into the game, and after a month they kind of just stopped because they realized even if they pulled Sephiroth, they can't get his katana. Like that's the sort of shit that stops people
yeah,
from playing.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, no, no. So it's, I mean, but we know that. We know this is not a new player friendly game at all. And I'm sure that Shadow, like, I think that the Chizuru thing, like, I think, right, Shadow. I mean, I don't know if you were half kidding or not, but I think you're dead spot
No,
on. I
I'm
think,
serious. I'm being serious.
yeah, I think that the people that do play are the
It's an
people
abusive
from the fucking
relationship,
4
and
star.
all of
Yeah.
us are still in it.
Well,
Yeah.
there's the old people that voted for Chooser, and there's the new people who voted for Hyo and Xeno.
No,
Newer,
because the new people don't know neither Yo or Zeno. Come on.
I had completely forgotten that
if they
Hyo
played
existed.
season 2.
I mean, Hyo came the fuck out. When did Hyo came out? Well, okay, yeah, sure, okay, season 2, so maybe they think he's a cool character. Okay, yeah. But like, Hyo came out in like 2016, I want to say, 17 maybe.
Probably 17 or 18.
17 or 18, yeah. It was
Yeah.
like early to mid 7-star.
It's like new players don't know him. Like I would say, like new players would need to pull for Tybus. Also, but since we're shitting on Gumi, I just want to say one nice thing. And this is not about Gumi. This is about Alim. But I do like the art direction that the new season is taking. It seems
Uh,
very War of the
the
Visions
War of
esque.
the Visions art style, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that. I actually like Tybus as a character. He reminds me of a drunk Cyan. And well, we all know I like Cyan, so it's like Tybus is actually a unit I like. So hey,
Hyo
more
came out in
season
2018, by the way.
2018. Okay, yeah, that's 4 years ago. So
Well, more like 3.5 because he was near the end.
oh my God, Muspel always has to be technically correct. Did you notice that? Did you notice how he always has to be
I feel
technically
like Muspel
correct?
would be such a fun person at parties, and this is me being sarcastic.
So, what global exclusive unit do you think came out the week after Hyo?
Wait, global exclusive unit
Well,
week.
there's more than one, but one of the 5
What?
stars.
What? Wait, what? I
What global
honestly
exclusive
can't.
rainbows do you think came out the week after him?
Mm.
I'll give you a hint. They're not limited.
So it would have been about mid-year. I feel like Kaito and Tsukio would have been the year later if it was summer.
It was September 2018.
Okay.
September.
It wasn't Xeno, right? No.
No, I don't think the month is going to
That's
help you.
too
It might
late.
actually throw you off, which is another clue.
Yeah, okay, so it's not like a holiday-related thing.
Well, I already said they're not limited.
Who is a
but-
global... Yeah, I mean, some holiday ones are permanent. Who is globally exclusive? Olive?
You might say they're a little bit out of season.
What the hell? And it's not the Black Friday units, right? No.
No,
I don't even know when Black Friday is though.
I
So
think that was the year.
Was it Aloha Lastwell?
Yes.
Bam.
oh wow.
Aloha, Lastwell, and Seaside Nicole.
Okay, Dream. You looked it up, you piece of
No,
shit.
no. I'm just thinking late summer units have a history of being late, but like Kaito and Tsukiko were a year later. I mostly remember like how their damage numbers roughly lined up.
Yeah.
But
This is why we
the
call you a
problem was
slave train.
the problem was I had a stronger memory of Aloha Lastwell's enhanced numbers than his original ones.
Yeah, remember how Aloha
Right.
Lastwell ran out of MP in like one turn?
Oh yeah.
Okay, listen.
time.
I need to put a
Good
stop to
times.
this episode because I will fucking cut myself. Okay, I will just literally inflict pain on my person right now.
Cut the
I
audio
need
instead.
like I'm gonna go play something that I enjoy.
All
All
right,
right.
so here's a challenge for our listeners. Send Barrows direct messages. Don't look it up. Tell him what unit you think came out the week before Hyo.
Oof. Actually, you know what? While you're sending DMs to me, just like put in a nude or like,
All
something
right,
to make me
that's our
happy.
show,
Just
everybody.
really
See you next week.
emphasize how much you love the game right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
do that.
Okay.
Also,
Have a
while we're
great.
at it, quit playing FFBE and play the City of Opera Omni instead. It's so much more fun.
Okay, you're such a gotcha hipster though, Shadow.
But
Dude,
well,
guys,
keep in
we can
mind
have our
that
own podcast high school. Like, most people could be the nerd who always has to be actually, and then I could be like the hipster.
that you should only take Shadow's recommendations if you like Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah,
Wow.
true. Actually, and that says a lot more about Shadow than it does about Final Fantasy 12.
All right, see you next week, everybody. Bye.
See you next week.
Guys, no,
Yeah.
this is not how we end this episode.